So we have stated that the prophets were very important in the life of the nation of Israel, and they were called by God at different times for specific times, and that they played a central role in the socio-economic, political, and also religious life of the nation of the Israel. So as you have already learned from the previous section, prophets were convinced that they were called by God to communicate, and you find them telling Israel what God had stated as far as different things are concerned. So prophets are very important. Can we write now some notes on the importance of prophets? Number one, they acted as mediators between God and people. They acted as mediators between people and God. So it means that God used them to communicate to the people of Israel. Number two, God spoke to prophets. God spoke to prophets. Are you together? Mwanafunzi uko nyuma, keti vizuri. Sit properly. God spoke to prophets to communicate information about the future. God spoke to prophets to communicate information about the future. That is another importance, that God used them to communicate about the future events. Number three, prophets preached. Prophets preached. Prophets preached practical monotheism. Prophets preach practical monotheism. Monotheism is the worship of one God. Sikuna monocotyledon na dicotyledon. So mono means one. Theism means the worship of God. So the worship of one God. So we say that practical monotheism and condemned idolatry. And condemn idolatry. This can be seen in Exodus 23 to 5. Exodus 23 to 5, where you see that they reminded the Israelites of the covenant they made with their God at Mount Sinai. Do you remember the Mount Sinai, the making of the covenant at Mount Sinai? Yes, when they were under Moses. Number four, they condemned all forms of social evils. Social evils. And ritual sins. They condemned all forms of social evils and ritual sins. Next is Isaiah. Isaiah condemned the observance of the Sabbath sacrifices. Isaiah condemned the observance of the Sabbath sacrifices. Is he sleeping? Are you serious sleeping in my class? Can you stand up? You are writing? Can you confirm? The neighbor, can you confirm that he's writing the notes? Is he writing the notes? Okay. Then sit properly. Okay, we have said Isaiah condemned the observance of the Sabbath sacrifices because those who offered them lived sinful lives. Because those who offered them lived sinful lives. Another important is that they acted as concerns of kings. Concerns of kings. They acted as concerns of kings. So we mean that the prophets advised the kings when they were consulted, and they also confronted them whenever they would go wrong. As you recall from Form 1, Prophet Nathan confronted David when he organized for the death of Uriah so that he could take his wife Bathsheba. Also, Prophet Elijah condemned who? He condemned? Yes? Unainua mkono. He condemned? Very good. He condemned King Ahab for taking over Naboth's vineyard and for supporting the worship of Baal in Israel. Another importance of prophets is some acted as priests. Some acted as priests. For example, Abraham, Moses, and Samuel. Some acted as priests. So when they are acting as priests, you say that they led people in worship and in offering sacrifices to God. They led people in worship and in offering sacrifices to God. Are we together? They led people in worship and in offering sacrifices to God. Another important number 8. Number 7. They foretold the punishment that would come to people. They foretold the punishment that will come to people for not obeying God. For not obeying God. For not obeying God. The last one is they gave people hope. They gave people hope of being restored to God. They gave people hope of being restored to God if they repented their sins. If they repented their sins. They gave people hope of being restored to God if they repented their sins. Very good. So those are the importance of the prophets, and you should be able to note them, revise them, and be able to answer them in the exam when you will be asked.